Baltimore, Maryland is a city with 595,000 people. Its reputation has been mixed in recent decades, with high crime and population decline overshadowing new waterfront development. Regardless of what you've heard, it's a city worth exploring. Baltimore is on the Patapsco River, which runs into the Chesapeake Bay, which in turn runs into the Atlantic Ocean in southern Virginia. In early American history, Baltimore was one of the fastest growing U.S. cities and was the second largest U.S. city after New York City from the 1830 to the 1850 census. The Baltimore and Ohio Railroad helped this growth by connecting Baltimore to the Ohio River by rail, becoming the first major city to have this advantage. Goods could be shipped from the interior of the U.S. and used to manufacture goods in Baltimore, which would be then shipped to Europe. Baltimore was also a popular immigrant port. From 1868 to 1914, 1.2 million European immigrants entered the U.S. through Baltimore, making it the third busiest port of entry for immigrants during that time. Baltimore began to decline in the era of suburbanization and deindustrialization, developing the reputation that most know it by today. But, like most major American cities, Baltimore is experiencing a strong renaissance. Take the Inner Harbor, for example, the central tourist district in Baltimore. It is located in the core of Baltimore and is full of various tourist attractions like the National Aquarium and the Maryland Science Center. The fact that there are no highways interfering with access to the waterfront is a big asset for Baltimore as the city tries to grow its tourist appeal. Just a few decades ago, this area was largely industrial, with warehouses lining the coast. Today, it's a nationally renowned, walkable area. Downtown Baltimore is just north and perhaps slightly west of the Inner Harbor. As time has gone on, the center of downtown has shifted east as new development tended to favor being closer to the harbor. Some of the more notable buildings include the Art Deco Bank of America Tower and the Transamerica Tower, which is the tallest in Baltimore at 529 feet. The downtown does a good job of using available land, as there are minimal parking lots in the downtown core. The housing market in downtown has gotten a lot better recently as well. In downtown, the Charles Center Plaza is an interesting attempt at urban renewal. There is a statue commemorating Charles D'Alessandro, the father of Nancy Pelosi, looking out on a fascinating tiered urban plaza. Nearby Baltimore City Hall is also an excellent piece of architecture, completed in 1875. Baltimore is dominated by single-family row houses. Since the 1790s, row houses have been a staple of Baltimore, perhaps more so than any other American city. In the early 1900s, housing developers actually built blocks of row houses to match the existing architecture. I even found an entire book written on Baltimore row houses, a testament to their legacy in the city. Now I want to explore some of the nearby neighborhoods. If you head north from downtown on Charles Street, you'll reach Baltimore's Washington Monument. It was the first major monument for George Washington erected in the United States. Construction ran from 1815 to 1829. Below is a statue of Lafayette, strategically placed next to Washington. To the west of downtown is Lexington Market, an indoor market full of small eateries and stands selling produce, fish, meat, and many other things. The market was formed in 1789, making it one of the oldest markets of its kind in the world. It's part of Baltimore's public market system, which is a non-profit group running 6 public markets throughout the city. These include Lexington Market, Cross Street Market in Federal Hill, Hollins Market in the Sewebo neighborhood, Avenue Market near Upton Station, Broadway Market in Fells Point, and Northeast Market near Johns Hopkins Hospital. One of the most interesting buildings in Baltimore is nearby Camden Yards, home of the Baltimore Orioles, and this building is called the Emerson Tower, or the Bromo Seltzer Tower. It was built in 1911, and was the tallest building in Baltimore until 1923. It was built for the Emerson Drug Company, and originally had a 50-foot Bromo Seltzer antacid bottle on the top of the building, though this was removed in 1936. Baltimore has a metro which opened in 1983 with 15 stops. It runs one line in a J shape from Johns Hopkins Hospital in East Baltimore to Owings Mills, a suburb of Baltimore. This was a scale back from a much more ambitious 1968 plan which included 6 lines emanating from a downtown hub. There was also a light rail, which was built in the 1990s without any federal assistance, which was quite rare at the time. The line stretches from Hunt Valley in the north through the city of Baltimore to Glen Burnie in the south. Speaking of Johns Hopkins University is located in Baltimore, about 3 miles north of downtown Baltimore. It is a top-ranked university with an award-winning medical school that has contributed greatly to the city's economy. Baltimore has a healthy Little Italy located just east of downtown. There are many Italian restaurants, and unlike other Little Italys located throughout the United States, the neighborhood spans multiple blocks in each direction rather than being concentrated on a single strip of road. It is still largely populated by the descendants of Italian immigrants to this day. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi grew up in this neighborhood. South of downtown, on the peninsula that makes up the southern part of the Inner Harbor, is a neighborhood called Federal Hill. It's named for a hill that overlooks the harbor, and it's a beautiful spot for getting a full view of the skyline. Federal Hill is a very popular retail neighborhood and features the recently renovated indoor market, Cross Street Market. Baltimore has also been a center for the Catholic Church since the colony of Maryland was founded to provide a safe haven for Roman Catholics in England. The first cathedral built in the United States is located in Baltimore, constructed between 1806 and 1863. Nearby is a garden and monument to Pope John Paul II, who visited Baltimore in 1995. Under Armour is headquartered here in Baltimore on this peninsula, in a neighborhood called Tide Point. Founded in 1996 by a former University of Maryland football player, Under Armour maintains a big presence in the city, and you'll see their branding if you walk around. Now, I've gone over a lot of stuff about Baltimore, and there's a ton of stuff I left out. I mean, we're not mentioning Babe Ruth was born here, Edgar Allan Poe lived here, Fells Point is a wonderful neighborhood to walk around, but I hope I've given you a little taste of Baltimore, what you can do here, and why it's such an interesting city. I'll see you next time on the DC Show.